Well, Dwan picks up the aces.
Well, that'll help console him a little bit from that last pot.
7-2. Pass.
And he makes it 7,200. Now we had the original raise under the gun from Alan Cunningham. He made it 2,000.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
This is an unbelievable spot for Tom Dwan. You know, any other player, Patrick Antonius maybe gets away from the kings, but Tom Dwan with the aces?
That's why Tom Dwan gets so much action. He plays so many hands. He mixes it up. When this happens, he gets paid off.
Oh, this is unreal. Just to recap here, Alan Cunningham under the gun raised it up
19.
with pocket threes. Tom Dwan has re-raised it with the aces to 7,200, and Patrick Antonius with pocket kings has made it 19,000.
You know, if Tom Dwan plays this tricky, this could get real expensive for Patrick Antonius.
Pass.
And both players are very deep. Antonius is $371,000 in front of him. Tom Dwan, $250,000 in front of him.
Well, that's why we could see a wide variety of ways to play this. We could see a re-raise right here by Tom Dwan just to get the pot pumped up. We could see a flat call. I think that as deep as the stacks are, I prefer a re-raise. Go ahead and put a little more money in the pot. The thing is this, the way that Tom Dwan's table image is, I think it looks great to go ahead and re-raise right here. I think he gets paid off by even queens, maybe jacks, ace-king.
I mean, obviously he's got Patrick Antonius dominated, but he's only a 4-1 favorite. He's going to lose 1 out of 5 times against those kings.
That's why I like a re-raise right here. Take the lead on this pot. Make it 19, make it 50-something. You know, 55, 60. Make it really tough on Patrick Antonius and help define the hand as well.
47,600.
I like it.
And he makes it 47,600. You said 50-something, pretty close.
Yeah. Back in good old 93, you know when raise, re-raise, re-raise. They had kings to raises. That was back in the good old days.
What's that?
When
you knew what they had was this action.
It was kings to raises.
Yeah. Well, that's how it is in these days, except when you're playing with these guys. Everybody had to put out tapes on how to play. It's your fault. You ruined everything. It's like nobody knew how to play. That was like the last year.
Patrick trying to work this one out.
In the world became superstars, especially 07, 08.
Patrick Antonius started the pot with 371,000. Tom Dwan, 250,000. And look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Cool.
Patrick Antonius is all in. Tom Dwan calls immediately.
They did have the aces and kings.
What'd you say? They don't have aces and kings when to raise, re-raise, re-raise?
I guess they do sometimes.
And we have a monster $500,000 chip pot. Unbelievable turn of events here. Aces versus kings.
Oh, we've got
it's Tom Dwan's dream here and Patrick Antonius' nightmare.
We've got a house in the middle of this pot. This isn't a poker hand. This is a house. I mean, look at the size of this pot.
Good luck, boys.
Patrick Antonius really thought long and hard about flat calling. Now I wish he did.
Well, here's the flop. He needs a king. Oh,
my
I can't
gosh.
believe it. It's unbelievable.
At least the pizza's here.
Oh, my. Tom Dwan gets all his chips in. This is a $500,000 pot.
Anyone have an ace?
Unbelievable. What a turn of events.
Dwan needs an ace and only an ace.
Well, there's just $500,000 in the pot. That's all.
And here's the turn. It's the Queen of Hearts.
Oh,
Tom Dwan
cards.
down to 1 card and only 2 outs, or he is going to lose a $500,000 pot.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
He's got to be about to puke right now.
I'll take 100 more.
I'm about to puke. It's the 4 of spades. Oh,
Wow. Wow. Just like that.
I mean, what is he feeling right now? You've played poker your whole life. What's he feeling right now? $500,000 in.
Maybach music.
Hasn't been his day. He's raising it up.
And as you say, he's raising it up with Jack 4 offsuit.
And I'm willing to bet he's going to try and continue it through. But here's Chris Ferguson. He might not actually get to see the flop. Chris with pocket aces. He's so quiet, and every now and then he just wakes up with a hand, and bang.
That's a big raise there. $26,500 raised too. Who's going to call that one? Now remember, Ferguson is very deep. Does Ivy have the odds to call with that small pair?
Well, he's around a 7-1 to actually catch a set on the flop. But he's also got to make sure he gets paid when he catches that set. So it's pretty tight on whether he can call this one, despite having over 200,000 in front of Chris Ferguson.
Well, he's going to gamble. He's going to call this. And the pot is actually the pot is $62,000. And Ivy needs a 3. And there it is. There is the 3. Look at this. How do you play this now?
Be a monster.
Ferguson with a pocket aces, Ivy with pocket 3s. And both players are very deep. Ivy with over 800,000. Ferguson with nearly a $250,000, actually, over a $250,000. And there's a $40,000 bet. Ivy decides to check it. Pot is $100,000.
100,000.
And you get a check raise here.
Looks like Phil Ivey has made it 100,000 to play.
It's 100,000 total.
And it's 60,000 more to Chris Ferguson. The pot is 200,000, 60 more to Ferguson. And it's difficult to figure this one out. Ivy could easily have kings or queens here. If this flop was king high or queen high, it would be much easier to get away from the aces. Chris Ferguson has played so well till now. And he is going to call this, and this pot is now $262,000.
9.
That could actually help Chris get off this hand.
I can't imagine him putting Ivy on a 9, though.
Probably not.
I mean, I think both players know we're talking about overpairs or a set. Ivy with a full house here. 3s full of 9s. Pot is over $250,000.
Small one.
Oh, and Chris Ferguson's worst nightmare.
Phil Ivey just moves all in. And Chris has a decision for all of his chips.
And I'm looking at Chris Ferguson's stack. It's a little over 100,000 still in there.
I call.
He says
he calls. He needs an ace here.
Or a 9.
An ace or a 9, thank you.
Yeah. I need an ace or a 9. Not 4 outs, I guess.
$500,000 pot. And Chris Ferguson needs a 9 or an ace.
Here it comes.
To the river. A 5. It's not going to do it.
Nice hand.
Maybach music.
And pretty boy, and the big winner today, Patrick Antonius.
What a good time he had. And then about half an hour later, he was broke. We never saw him again.
And there it is. Phil Ivey in the cutoff seat with the hooks.
2,000.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And there's a couple of hands behind him.
Cool.
Raise to 2, call of 2. And here comes Brian. Looks like a deep reach. And then a change of plan. He calls with the 8.
No, it's not your
Gives me that tingly feeling inside when these 3 players play a pot.
Would have got her more stuck.
Well, man, he's going to wait for her to use the bathroom and sneak some money under the table.
What a flop.
Oh, wow, this is it. What a flop here. We've got ace, ace, jack board here. Ivy has flopped, bottoms full, and Patrick Antonius has flopped trip aces. And both these players are very deep. Each player has over $400,000.
When I moved to Vegas in '93, the big game was
the pot is only $12,000.
I'm willing to bet it's going to go up at some point in this hand.
That was the biggest game.
Probably a good assumption.
Chip came down for that game. And then it was a big deal when we kind of kicked it up to 8 and 16, and that was kind of the regular
15.
Patrick Antonius re-raises, puts it to 15,000.
Well, they're
And obviously Patrick Antonius cannot beat Ace King, Ace Queen, or Ace Jack.
where like the pros and the
Little does he know that Ivy's got
together on a regular
pocket
basis. They're
jacks.
always gonna be,
And the pot is $27,000. And Ivy's, his eyes are just lighting up here. Just trying to figure out, how do I maneuver this pot to make as much as I possibly can?
But I mean, you know, they used to
50
play.
total.
They were playing like 1-200.
And he is going to re-raise right away. He makes it 50 total.
He was just trying to launder money. Chipping away.
Phil Ivey not going to wait
I heard he
to
was
build this pot up. Patrick Antonius does have some outs here. He can catch an ace or a 10. And he is going to call this. And look at this. This pot
heard conflicting Antonio and then the
is already $107,000. The turn is the 5 of diamonds.
That's a great card for Phil. He can be pretty certain that Patrick's not re-raising him with ace-5.
Although, if you remember correctly, Antonius did win a huge pot with ace-4 against Phil Ivey earlier.
$100,000.
And this is a huge bet here. Phil Ivey is making a $100,000 bet. Those are $25,000 chips. The pot is $207,000, $100,000 to Antonius, and this is the exact reason Ivey rebought.
Well, that $100,000 bet is really going to confuse Patrick. He doesn't know whether he's up against an ace-king, an ace-queen. He tried to find out with the 15,000 bet.
Cool.
And look at this, Patrick Antonius is going to call.
A 5 wouldn't get him any action, but would put him in front. A 10 would be a huge river. It's a queen.
It's a queen. It changes nothing, and for once, Ivey has not gotten unlucky.
Might scare him a little, though, that queen.
Of course. Remember, right now,
they're all talking at the start of this hand. Now everyone's watching. This pot is 307,000, and it could be getting bigger.
Phil Ivey trying to think, how much can I bet here? This is an enormous pot. Phil Ivey, the master, trying to figure out exactly how to get the big call.
A decent-sized bet from Ivey, and Patrick should be able to get away from the hand. There isn't really much he can beat here.
No, you're correct there. But the pot is $300,000. What about the human side of it? Can you really let $300,000 go?
He's got to decide what he wants to bet, and is he going to pass if he gets re-raised and puts 150,000 in there?
I think he's probably going to bet about 200,000 here, maybe even more. The pot is $300,000. Phil Ivey, an absolute master.
He might even just declare all in. He's sitting with about the pot size in front of him, around the 300,000 mark.
And could Phil Ivey get even in just one hand? Absolutely phenomenal poker. And what is Patrick Antonius thinking right now, Gary, as he waits for Phil Ivey to make a bet?
He's probably trying to decide What do I do if he bets? What do I do if he checks?
Phil Ivey, obviously really thinking this through. The wheels are turning.
He's gone back for the blacks.
Those are $25,000 each. This could really sort him out. And look at this. This is the bet. It's $225,000. Phil Ivey has just bet $225,000. This pot is over $500,000. It is actually $250,000. It's 12 black chips. The pot is $557,000. What do you do if you're Patrick Antonius?
$557,000. The only thing he can really beat now is a bluff. He knows if Phil Ivey is re-raising him on the flop, a third bet, he should have ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack, jacks full. But it's also got to be going through his mind that Phil Ivey is stuck, and he is stuck big. This could be his one chance to get out of it, to steal this pot. Is Patrick Antonius going to make the call?
Phil Ivey like a stone here. Patrick Antonius trying to figure it out. The superstar from Finland really puts the test here. $250,000 bet. If he calls this bet, Ivey will actually be ahead.
That's all it's going to cost. Just 10 black chips.
Exactly, 10.
Doesn't sound a lot. Just a little bit of plastic. But that is $250,000.
This pot is over $500,000.
Come back to play with the chips.
Not much Antonius can beat here. But can he say goodbye to that big a pot? You can just feel the tension in the room.
I call.
He says call. This is a monster, and it is the hand that Phil Ivey has been waiting for. $807,000 pot. Incredible.
Absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Patrick Antonius.
Maybach music.
Although that's an overraise.
Tom Dwan thinking about what to do here. He's got 7-6 of hearts.
Ironically enough, we have a coin toss before the flop.
I mean, Robert, who has the edge in this game? I'm looking. Patrick Antonius, Tom Dwan, Phil Ivey. Three of the best in the world. Who's got the edge?
I'd be guessing if I told you. I don't really know.
Well, go ahead and guess. I'm curious.
I have to say Phil Ivey overall, but it's a close one. Real close.
Well, Tom Dwan is going to call. We're going to see a flop. Jack 5-3. Both players pick up a gut shot. If the 4 falls, talk about an action card.
Especially if it's not a club.
If a 4 falls, we're going to see some action. Ivy with a 4 would make the wheel. A 4 would give Dwan the nuts, as long as it's not a 4 of clubs, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Phil Ivey bets out 35,000 into this pot.
Pot is an astonishing $84,500. There's no going back from this.
This is a tough call for Tom Dwan, actually. He's got enough gamble. He's capable of calling here.
Well, it's not just calling for a 4, you're calling to float as well. And
Cool.
In position.
he can call to represent clubs. He can call to represent that he's got a pair of 5s, a jack.
Cool.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Oh, wow. This is unbelievable. Ivy cannot win this pot, but he's made a straight.
Both players have a straight.
Talk about the gin card. Ivy makes the wheel. Dwan has the absolute nuts.
We could see the largest pot ever in televised poker history.
There's 75,000.
80, 85,
90.
90,000.
90,000. Phil Ivey bets $90,000. If you're Tom Dwan, what do you do?
Wow, with a flush draw out there, I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and raise right here. But I'm not going to raise my whole stack. I'm going to raise it about 200,000 more. Make it look like I can still lay my hand down. Maybe 150 more even.
Now, Ivy's one of the best in the world, but can he get away from a wheel? He's made the straight. Both players have made the straight. Tom Dwan with the absolute nuts. Oh, talk about a gin card on the turn. Well, the biggest pot in the history of televised poker is just over 900,000. We have a chance of breaking that right here. Tom Dwan with the nuts. The 7 high straight. Phil Ivey with the 5 high straight.
He's definitely going to raise here.
The pot is $209,000. The action is on Tom Dwan.
Unbelievable.
142.6.
And the raise is 142,000 more. And this is where we're going to see how good is Phil Ivey. He's staring at Dwan's stack, trying to figure out where he's at.
258.
Can I have it all? Can I get all those chips?
I don't think Ivey can get away from this hand, but I'll tell you what, he is considered the best cash game player in the world. If anybody can get away, it's Phil Ivey.
I mean, at this point, I don't even know if Ivey wants to get away.
I'm all in.
And he's
all in! Oh my gosh.
Ivey is all in. Dwan calls with the nuts. Ivey cannot win this pot.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's no good.
We have just broken poker television history. 1.1 million in this pot.
And he's drawing dead.
It is the biggest pot in the history of televised poker. And it's going to Tom Dwan. He's got the nut straight.
Maybach music.
Alright, so JC Kuhn's going to raise. First one in. It's not a straddle pot.
I mean, tell these statistics to the table.
What's that?
Huh?
What'd you say?
Doesn't feel that true.
Guess it depends on how much you have in crypto.
Set hunting. I thought you're not.
Paul says he's set hunting with 8-6 suited. Trying
I
to
allotted for
put some mind games on his
I don't have
opponents.
allotted. I had like 33% of my portfolio. Now I have less.
There are a lot of people who wanted to keep 25% of their net worth in cryptocurrency when it was $1,000 a coin. And within 6 months, it's $20,000 a coin. And now they're forced to have 90%, some percent of their net worth in it, unless they want to pay short-term capital gains tax. So they got to hold on to it for years. So if that's the case for you, there's a lot more gamble in crypto than there is in poker.
Yeah.
Kuhn flops a straight flush draw.
Short deck. 6-9 is a straight.
Looking for the 9 of clubs or the 9 of hearts or the 4 of hearts right now. Love to see a straight flush in our big cash game. But Tom Dwan's got the best hand. He's gonna bet top pair 10 kicker. Elton, he's got bottom pair of a nut flush draw right now. He's actually going to make the call, or is he check raising? He's going to make the call with bottom pair. He's very suspicious of Tom. They've got a lot of history, but Jason Kuhn actually might check raise here. He can put a lot of pressure on these type of hands. Yeah, he's going to raise to 100,000. I mean, he's stuck about 800,000 euros, so I can see why he wants to raise and just put a lot of pressure. I wonder if Tom Dwan can read into this and maybe call a flop check raise and kind of see what happens on the turn. But I think he's going to let it go. The way he's grabbing his cards. Actually, no, he might call. Tom's thinking about what happened previously. Kuhn bluffed off a lot of his chips. Would Kuhn actually try and bluff off more chips?
What happened this hand? What happened on the flop?
So he's going to let it go. And Elton probably got a fold bottom pair.
Not cash.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. 240.
Maybe Elton's going to call here. With just bottom pair. No, he re-raises to 324,000. This is a weird play.
I'll turn it off.
It might be like a little bit.
I mean, don't say anything.
Wow. Jason Kundo, I mean, he has a very good hand. Just 6 high, but he's just got 55% chance to win. I think he's just going to call and see what happens on the turn. He doesn't think Elton will ever fold to a shove. He actually would. So here comes the turn. Elton trying to decide what Kuhn has. Turn is a queen. Elton has the nut flush draw of his pair of 7s. 736,000 in here. Now, Elton was pretty much giving up, but on this card, he actually might shove. Elton's trying to represent a set or two, like ace 8 or ace 7 right now.
Way late.
I'm not sure what he puts Kuhn on right now, but he knows Kuhn lost a million chips. They've never played before with each other, I believe, with such big stakes. I would love to see Elton ship it all in here. The way Elton played the hand, man, I really can't really put him on a hand. It just seems like we called a bet, got check raised by the pre-flop raiser, and then re-raised to 300,000. So he's gonna bet. He's gonna bet a lot. He's just gonna shove them all in. Okay, he shoved in 390,000. He's got 540,000 behind. A half pot bet. Jason Kuhn's got so many outs, but he's only got 30% now.
No, we would have.
Jason Kuhn's got position, so he technically can call. I would never shove in Jason Kuhn's spot because he has no fold equity, so he should only call with position. Jason Kuhn already down like 800K right today. He can get all his money back in his hand, or he can lose €1,000,000, possibly more, because I think they were deeper. He makes the call. There's not very many chips remaining. Elton. 1.5 million. This pot could be bigger than the last pot we just saw.
I played with him enough that I don't think he's got a soft throw. Let's just put it that way.
Rivers a 4. Jason Kuhn makes the nut straight.
I don't see how he could heads up game.
There's 1.5 million in there.
Oh yeah, okay. That's the way, but
I'm sure. I think it's fine. I don't think he's using any.
Jason Kuhn is so relieved to see the 4. Elton trying to decide if he can make a bluff.
I was like, what do you mean? Like,
Just a pair of 7s.
I was like, you know what I mean? I had the same kind of thing, but further away. What do you mean? If I lose this, I'm dead. What do you mean? Hold on.
Jason Kuhn just praying for Elton to shove.
it's always possible. 30 seconds.
Elton realizes Kuhn only has a third of the pot remaining.
Usually playing slow in cash game, right? But
It's super slow. It's not just max.
I mean,
So he checks, he gives up. Jason Kuhn's going to shove.
Slowest player I played.
Where's Max?
I wonder if Elton will consider a hero call.
always making a decision in 30 seconds.
But you can do fast. Why?
If Jason Kuhn can have 6-5 of hearts, then that means he could have 10-9 of hearts as well, right? So technically, Elton does beat a couple hands. I guess King 10 of hearts and Jack 10 of hearts occasionally. But there's so many chips in there. 2 million in the middle. Elton trying to decide what hands he can beat. 10-9 of hearts, the most likely hand he can beat. But if he has 10-9 of hearts, his opponent can also have 6-5 of hearts, which is what he's up against. It's very few hands he actually beats here.
I wouldn't say good. I
guess
didn't even play for like
10-9 of hearts and King 10 of hearts, Jack 10 of hearts. If that's assuming they played the hand this way as well. I mean, he really wants to make a hero call, a pair of 7s, but it won't be good. Because if Jason Kuhn had a hand like King, Queen of Hearts, he'd probably just check it back because usually he's up against 2 hearts himself. So nice fold. Can't show the bluff.
Can't do it, man. There's a time. This is the time.
S6 of fast?
Jason Kuhn wins 789,000. He's actually up money right now. 2.1 million in there.
Is that the other card?
In his starting stack.
Not the other card.
He's in for 2 million.
Damn, he's opening it up.
Ace 6 off.